Alright, welcome back to the saw shop. What we've got the this is basically part 2 of the MS660 build. We'll call it the sawmill build. Well, this is the one that goes on the sawmill, but I'm fixing to check the squish. So to kind of show you how we do that, this is a piece of, I'm hoping it's going to be tighter than this right here. This is 40, this is a 40, oh, I'm about to forget, let me get that keyway out there before I lose that. This is 40 thousandths solder. So I'm going to basically take this, I'm going to put a little 90 in it so I can get over to the squish band on the side of the piston. And I'm just going to stick it down in this cylinder. And I'm going to rotate this cylinder. Alright, hold on. I'm going to have to get something. I done took me. Let me get something to rotate it with. Done took everything off. Alright, I'll be careful with this, not messing threads up here. But I need something I can just rotate the crank around with. I'm going to put that in there. And open that where we ain't got any resistance in the cylinder, so I can move this around. Push it over there, you'll feel it hit the side, and you're just going to run this thing around until you feel it squish that solder. I think it just got it. Yep, it did. Alright, and so you can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, but you can see what kind of squished it on the end right there. Alright, so we're going to take the micrometer. Alright, and we're going to measure it out. Let me zero it out. Let's see what our squish is. There. There's the squish with the base gasket out. 20.5 thousandths. That is perfect. That right there is gonna, I mean, I knew it already ran really good as stock saw, and that's part of the reason. It's because when we deleted that base gasket out of it, it really tightened that up. So we're sitting at 40 thousandths, or a 20 thousandth squish, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to set up this timing wheel. Let me get my I need to get me a piece of solder here to use as my piece of solder right here to use as my marker for my timing. Just usually use one of these top cover holes. Just run the screw back down in there to hold it in place. Okay, there we are. We got a little pointer there. Now we'll take this. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use a so how we find the bottom dead center, of course, I'm gonna stick this hex key down in here, and I'm gonna push that to the bottom, but it kind of gives me a rough place to start. That way I know where to set the timing wheel up. I want to start with bottom dead center over here, somewhere pretty close to my marker. And we'll get it threaded right on the end of the crank there. Just make sure we still within, yep. All right, now let me tighten that down. It's in here. It don't matter for right now if I touch my marker or anything, because I'm just trying to get it tight. spin it around, make sure it ain't wobbling everywhere, and it's pretty. You might have to do a little adjusting on it to make sure it's on good and square so it's not just wobbling everywhere. All right, there we are. Now I've got to go back and let's find bottom dead center again. Right there. And we've got a little movement, so I'm going to just set it right here on 0 for now. All right, it's on 0, so I'm going to spin it backwards about 90 degrees, push it down. It stopped on +1. I'm going to spin it forward about 90 degrees, push it down. It stopped on -1. So I feel like we about had it 0 right to start with. So if I go right here and I've got, and you can feel it, and it's wobbling back and two from +5 to -5. So luckily, that was just pure luck that I guessed and it was just on perfect bottom dead center to start with. So now, how we're going to start, now we're going to roll it around. Top dead center is marked on here, or 180 degrees. So we're at top dead center. I'm going to get a light to shine down in the spark plug hole. I'm going to get me a marker to write with. And I always used a piece of cardboard on my workbench, because as you get oily, I can throw it away. Plus, I just write all over it, and then it's easy to just throw it away later. But all right, so we're going to check the exhaust first. So we're at top dead center, so we're going to start rolling it forward and look for the first crack of light. So we're going to roll it forward. Somewhere right in there, and that's 95 degrees. All right, now I'm going to roll it all the way around. It's going to open. When it closes back, it should duplicate that. So it's at 85 going the other way. So that means we have 170 degrees of duration. All right. Now, on the intake side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to bottom dead center, which is right there. I'm going to look down through the intake boot, because I can see the cylinder, I can see the piston in there, and see the bottom of the intake runner. I'm going to roll it forward until I see the piston start to open right at the bottom of the intake boot. And that's right there. So it opens at 100. So that's 100. And see how long, and see what, and then I'm going to keep rolling around until it opens up and it comes back closed. And it closed at 80, so we have a duration of 160 on the intake. So really, now let me look at the transfers. I can do that by looking right in here. You see when they open. Lost. Right there. Right about there. So we got about 22 degrees of blowdown in this cylinder. 22 degrees. That's a good blowdown number. I like, anywhere somewhere 20 to 25 is probably pretty good for me. So, this saw really it's a little limiting on the top of what I can do, because I don't want to go any higher than 90. I like it to be close to 100, but 95 is not bad. I don't really want to go down from that, because I can go down and it'll get rev happy, but I start losing. The higher the roof goes, the less torque I'm gonna have. But I'm gonna get more RPM out of the saw. So 95 is going to be a good RPM saw. I can widen it out some, so the exhaust is blowing out. I'll have to look at my skirt, see how wide I can go, and square the top, because the top of the exhaust is like this. So I'll go in there and kind of square it off at the top. And then looking at the port, that port's pretty wide, but I mean, so I don't think I'm having a problem getting the air out of the saw. And then on the intake, it's at 100. I normally don't. I mean, it's going to be at 100 and then it's at 80. So I really like for them to be like around between 75 and 80. So it's probably not far off there. May just take a little bit in the bottom and widen it and square it at the bottom as well. And then work on the transfers. Work on those lower transfers to be able to, the air that I'm getting in there, to be able to get it to the top and up to the combustion chamber and to get this thing really going. But really, all in all, the numbers on the saw were not bad after the base. Now, before the base gasket deleted was on this saw, these numbers would have been pathetic. That means that that exhaust roof would have probably been about 90 degrees with a base gasket in this. Or, you know, it'd been 90 to 92 anyway. So, I'll get this thing shut off. I'll finish, get these bolts out, get the cylinder head off, get it ported, and then I'll bring you back and kind of show you what we did as far as porting wise goes, and then we'll reassemble it. All right, have a good one.